To the regularly scheduled meeting of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a full quorum present with council members Clay, Karn, Allen, and Gay. It is 7:32 p.m. and I'm calling the meeting to order at this time. Our first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent job by all those present. I heard a lot of youthful voices, and so that was great. Our invocation will be handled by Chaplain McKenzie this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Our eternal, everlasting God, creator of the ends of the earth, we come before you at this 12th month of 2022 with hearts of gladness, filled with rejoicing, thanking you for taking us through this amazing year. And as we come to our final city council meeting, we know that we must invite you and your presence, for without you, we can do nothing. This is your city. We are your people. And we realize tonight that except you build our city, all of our labor is simply in vain. So God, we ask that you would bless our elected official team as they practice the tenets of integrity, transparency, and all the core values that this city stands upon. We pray your blessing upon our staff and our department heads, all those employees and contractors that make the city of College Park what we are. We thank you for our public safety personnel, our fire personnel, all of our frontline workers that are constantly there, making sure that we are safe and that we have the very essential things that we need to operate. We come with gladness, thanking you for our new Chief, Connie Rogers. We thank you for the opportunity to have her serve us as we serve with her. We bless you also, God, for our interim Chief McQuarrie. We thank you for how she guided us and led us and kept us in a position where we are still a safe city that is thriving. God, you have set our city as a global gateway to Georgia and the world. You have called us to set the example. And so, God, we pray tonight that you remove all forms of deception and even the very appearance of corruption and inequity that exists behind closed doors. Tonight, help our leadership as they use wisdom and understanding to set policy that will create a climate where our city and our citizens can thrive. God, we ask tonight for a beloved hospitality community where hope results in dreams fulfilled, where innovative ideas and free enterprise are capitalized, where safety and human culture community are manifest, and the very virtues of kindness and unity prevail. We thank you again for your presence. We thank you, and let the words of our mouth this evening and the meditation of our heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our God and our Redeemer. Amen.
Item number 2, additions, deletions, amendments, or changes to the agenda.
Madam Mayor, I have nothing.
All right. Anyone else have anything? No. Okay.
I have one addition to the agenda. Discussion of citywide contributions.
Discussion of citywide contributions. Can you be more specific?
Discussion of citywide contributions.
In what regard, sir?
In terms of contributions we receive on behalf of the city from entities, corporate partners, or whatever have you.
Oh, financial contributions.
Not necessarily.
So financial and in-kind contributions?
That's correct.
Mr. Myers, where would you like to place that?
Under 9A, new business.
All right. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any abstentions? That is unanimous. Item 3A is approval of the regular session minutes from November 21st.
I move to approve with one change.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Carn. Go right ahead, Councilman Clay.
Packet page 14, line 447. I submitted this on the first pass, but it didn't get in. That was about 3 or 4 days before it was due.
As opposed to viewed.
Due instead of viewed.
Okay. Any others? Any others, sir? Councilman Clay, any others?
No, that's it.
All right. And I had one on package page 17, line 592. It says, we agreed with a council. I believe it's we agreed as a council.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Anything else? Hearing none others. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously. We are on to proclamations, resolutions, plaques, and announcements. We have a number of them. We are going to present a proclamation for NFL flag football 10 and under team champs. We're going to present a proclamation for the GRPA state champs in volleyball 14 and under. Proclamation to Ms. Bernice Walker, to Interim Chief Sharis McCrary, and I believe there's one for Elder Carolyn Walker as well. I'm sorry. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. And then we are doing the introduction of new employees and the Employee of the Month. All right. So let's head on down. So first up, is that working? Hello? Yep, there we go. First up, College Park Flag Football Team. If you are a member of the flag football team, come on down. Hold on 1 second, because I'm going to announce your names. So stay right there for just one moment. All right.
Parents, come on down and take pictures if you want.
City of College Park proclamation for the College Park Flag Football Team. Whereas the College Park 10 and under flag football team competed in the NFL Flag Football Championship game on Saturday, November 12th, 2022. And whereas the 10 and under team went undefeated with an 11-0 record. And whereas the 10 and under team won the Youth NFL Flag Football League, and whereas the 10 and under team consisted of Mr. Carson Baker. Come on. Mr. Jules Butler. He's not here, but we're still going to clap for him. Mr. Coleman Butler II. Mr. Titan Ellis. We're still going to clap for him, even though he's not here today. Mr. Josiah Ford. We're still going to clap for him. Mr. Shane Gordon. Actually, Mr. Shane Gordon Jr. No. Well, see, I was really calling your dad when I said that, because you're the junior, right? You're the junior? All right. Mr. Milo Jones. Mr. Trenton Meredith. Mr. Sean Anthony Sykes. And I bet you I know who you are. Mr. Keon Ward, there you go. And whereas the players were coached by Shane Gordon, Emmanuel Rainey Jr., and Mario Ward. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park that the College Park 10U flag football team is recognized for their hard work, their dedication, and their accomplishments during the competitive 2022 season of competition. No one could stop you, gentlemen. You were undefeated. We are so proud of you. Proclaim this 5th day of December, 2022. Do they make those in mayor sizes? That skirt. It's pretty great. It's a pretty great skirt. All right. If you have represented the City of College Park on our volleyball team, why don't you come up front? And under volleyball team traveled to Dalton, Georgia for the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association State Volleyball Tournament on the weekend of November 11th through 12th, 2022. And for the second year, whereas for the second year in a row, College Park entered a team in the 14 and under GRPA State Volleyball Tournament for the City of College Park Recreation and Cultural Arts Department. And whereas in the GRPA Volleyball State Tournament, the team won the 14 and under state championships 2 years in a row. 2021 and 2022. And whereas the team competed with 10 girls on the roster, that included Ms. Layla Brown, Ms. Kendall Davison, Ms. Tamia Delaveau, Ms. Aubrey Heine, Ms. Carmen King, Ms. Joy Moody, Ms. Peyton Moore. She's not here for her. Ms. Micaiah Sweeney, Ms. Micaiah Sweeney, Ms. Jace Williams, and Ms. Jessie Williams. And whereas the 14 and under team was coached by Ms. Catherine Murray, owner of Dream Chasers Volleyball Club Volleyball Inc., and assistant coaches Kaja Sweeney, Khadijah Sweeney, I apologize, and Alicia Smith. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park that the College Park volleyball team is recognized for their hard work, dedication, and their accomplishments during the competitive 2022 season, and we'll throw in 2021 as well because it's pretty impressive that they went back-to-back at the local and state level of competition, proclaimed this 5th day of December, 2022. Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you. Okay, somebody else has to hold the proclamation. I get to hold the shirt. All right, let's see if I can get in here.
Where's Alice? Come on.
No, you got it. You're the star of the show. You want to step up? You step up? I think you should. You're probably going to need that. Step up one more. There we go. All right.
Lady in the back, I'm losing you. Michelle, step to the right just a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
Try and get out.
Here we go, group, looking right up on the net. Good, good. Big smiles now. That's good.
Awesome. Congratulations, ladies. Parents, you want to come down?
Come on down.
Go ahead, get a picture.
Is there somebody else that needs to get in here?
Yeah.
No?
Real quick.
Yes, get them in here.
In a big group, yeah.
That's fine.
Not as big as earlier, so we're good.
Warren, you want to get back up there and get one with everybody in?
Oh, was they get through?
I got it right
Here we go, group. Again. Again. Last time. Okay?
Awesome. Great job, ladies.
Congratulations, good job. Very good job.
I knew I wasn't imagining things when I got thrown off. Our next proclamation is for Elder Reverend Carolyn Walker. Elder, those shoes. Whereas Elder Reverend Carolyn Bernice Walker, affectionately called by many as Mother Walker, is a servant of the Most High God of 60-plus years serving the kingdom of God. Currently under pastoral care of her children, pastors Steve and Stacy Alexander at Restoration Christian Fellowship Church, located in the beautiful city of College Park, Georgia. And whereas Mother Walker has a love of the triune God, followed by 2 Timothy 2:15, which says, "Study to shew thyself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth, with the precious Holy Spirit being her guide." He led her first beginnings to listen and study daily with the Dr. J. Vernon McGee in his Through the Bible radio program, then growing with John MacArthur's teachings, all the while delving into local church group study, revivals, conferences, and more. Her appetite for the word was then and is now insatiable, so much so that she offers boutique Bible study in the home. She has been a teacher of the gospel at Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, Mount Calvary Baptist Church, First Missionary Baptist Church, Little Vine Baptist Church in Tyrone, and Just Jesus Ministry. Mother Walker earnestly shares Christian biblical studies with anyone that has an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying. And whereas the Lord has afforded her numerous opportunities to spread his love and testify of his greatness, not only of her personal trials and triumphs, but of his glory to be revealed. Many have come into the kingdom of God because of her obedience and testimony. Having been a loving wife to the late Mr. Lonnie Walker Jr. for over 40 years, having 5 children of her own and raising 7, all of which are living their lives and raising seed under the blood of Jesus. And whereas it's her earnest pleasure to be used of God for kingdom building through prayer, praise, adoration, and exaltation, as well as standing in the gap for those in need, putting her hands to the gospel plow and forging ahead in the name of Jesus Christ. And whereas Mother Walker, although not formally trained in a college or seminary, has grown and developed into the scholar known to us today, a pillar of our community at the age of 83 years young, who boldly declares, she ain't got tired yet. 1 Corinthians 2:9 says, "But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." Now therefore be it resolved that the worldwide body of believers joins Restoration Christian Fellowship Church, the mayor and city council of the city of College Park, Georgia, for recognizing the absolute gift called Mother Walker to God's kingdom, her family, and mankind everywhere. Proclaim this 5th day of December, 2022. Now I know there's a lot of people that probably want to get in this photo, right? So why don't we get one with just you with mayor and council, and then we will go ahead and get a group photo. So will that work? Okay.
You can come down and get pictures. You can stay right down there, that's fine. Congratulations. That's absolutely right, you can stay there.
Okay. Come on down, everybody.
Come on down, take pictures.
last proclamation recognizes our interim chief, Shars McCrary. Whereas we recognize Ms. Shars McCrary for her exemplary skills in management, city government, and her ability to adapt quickly and accept the challenges before her. And whereas with her 21 years of dedicated service to the city of College Park, Deputy Chief McCrary's passion lies at the helm of this city she has grown to love from childhood. Her success is indisputable. She is the first African-American female deputy police chief, first African-American female lieutenant, and first female interim police chief. And whereas Ms. McCrary's background is diverse, she has served as a patrol officer, community-oriented police officer, criminal investigator. At one point in her career, she served as the only female on College Park's SWAT team. She is president in the community, engaging socially with our citizens on National Night Out, Trunk or Treat, among others. And whereas during her time as interim police chief, Ms. McCrary's stewardship allowed the city to confront the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic head-on, while discovering, mentoring, and developing talent within the organization. And whereas Ms. McCrary works diligently to serve the heart of the community, engaging in programming to serve children and seniors alike, she firmly believes in listening to the needs of the communities in which she serves. And whereas Ms. McCrary's dedication to the city of College Park is unparalleled, and we are forever grateful for her willingness to serve. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and city council of the city of College Park recognize Shars McCrary for her extraordinary performance as interim police chief this 5th day of December, 2022.
Mayor's covering her up. Here we go.
And now we have our illustrious Director of Human Resources and Risk Management, Dr. Dwight Baker, to tell us who this month's Employee of the Month will be, whose picture will be out front. Dr. Baker. Yes, you're introducing the new employees as well. What you're doing first? New employees first. Okay, I got everybody ahead of that. All right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to introduce the new employees for the month of November 2022. If you were hired in the month of November, please come forward and state your name, your department, and your position. Any new employees hired in the month of November? I guess they didn't get the memo.
I was just psychic. Thank you.
Moving right along, introducing the Employee of the Month for November 2022. This employee has been employed with the City of College Park since March 2018. This employee is an overall exceptional coworker and plays an essential part in procuring various materials, supplies, and equipment for the city. The knowledge and love for the city are displayed in this employee's work ethic as a decision maker and a leader. The Employee of the Month for November 2022 is Mr. Willis Moody, Purchasing Coordinator.
I All right, I believe that brings us to remarks of citizens. Ms. Ames, can you let everybody know how we'll proceed?
Okay, the first remark I have that signed in is Linda Bright. She did let me know that she would not be able to stay for her comment. So I'm moving on to Veronica Carew. Okay, the next one I have is Hattie Cotton Tukes. Oh, they just signed in? Okay. What about Donna Hugh? Major Bill Edwards.
They're just signing.
Alexis Pilgrim. Okay, I know this one's here. Ms. Rose Stewart.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Rose Stewart, Executive Director of Ignite Resource Center. I hope you all are having a good evening. The purpose of me standing here this evening is to present our end of the year report. And I have with us today some of our Doolum board members, April Wyatt. She's not here. Okay, and we have our volunteer Eleanor, and we also have our volunteer Andrea, and one of our Ignite staff, Mr. Anderson. And so I have some announcements that we wanted to make regarding Ignite Resource Center, just for your information. Ignite is proud to announce some of our activities that we have been participating in this year and hosted this year. We, throughout the year, we had a Ready to Succeed Family Literacy Project, a Birthright by Legacy Academy for teens in the area, leaders, innovators, and we were teaching them leadership skills. We have a women's clothing closet that we are supporting women who are trying to go back into the workforce, so we want to help those women have adequate clothing so that they can return to work. We hosted a citywide back-to-school resource fair, a shoe giveaway. We also hosted College Park Cares Thanksgiving giveaway, and also our Senior Dignity Program. These programs are those things that we are hosting every year. And we served over 6,000 persons this year in those events, and we are proud to say that. Some of those things that we did, we had referrals for food. We provided assistance with utilities and rent. We provided financial and homeowner workshops. We provided legal assistance, homelessness, and fire victims. We helped those people who were displaced by issues in their households so that they could find adequate living. We are so grateful that we were able to have at least 340 volunteers work with us, along with partner organizations, corporate sponsors, and donors. And these volunteers and sponsors help to make our efforts a success. We also want to publicly show our appreciation and honor to our founder and our CEO, Jamel McKenzie, who also serves as founder and director of the College Park Chaplaincy Corporation Corp. And chair of the city's Business Industrial Development Authority, which is BIDA. Some of the things about Ms. McKenzie that I would like for you to know. This year, she was inducted into the Chick-fil-A's 10-month Impact Accelerator cohort, which consisted of 15 leaders throughout the USA who were having their skills sharpened on how to positively transform cities and the communities that they serve. Ms. McKenzie's involvement in her first few months of the cohort has resulted in our Doolum organization being awarded a very generous grant from Chick-fil-A. Recently, Ms. McKenzie was featured by the College Park Skyhawks NBA G League team as College Park's hometown hero at their opening game of the season on November the 4th. She was also awarded a proclamation by Fulton County for her service to the citizens, governments, and organizations in our county. Whereas Chairman Pitts declared November the 14th as Jamel McKenzie Appreciation Day in Fulton County. This past Friday, it just continues to go on and on with the contributions that she makes. This past Friday, Ms. McKenzie was featured on CBS Channel 46 Atlanta News, first representing Ignite College Park Resource Center, the City of College Park, and her new Believe It Again mental health initiative that will assist thousands of persons dealing with mental health issues in our community. Finally, we are so excited for our upcoming adventures. The second Believe Again Mental Health Gala that's going to be held on Sunday. We also have our senior Secret Santa and our adopted family College Park Cares for the Holiday program that will be held at the Tracy Wyatt Recreation Center on December the 20th through the 22nd. During these programs, we will provide gifts and tokens to those persons who are going to be attending, and we're expecting over 1,300 people in this area. I would like to personally thank everyone. Thank you, and invite you area businesses and citizens to partner with us as we continue to serve College Park and the surrounding area. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Ames?
Next, I have Kenneth Anderson. Is that you? Okay, you're not speaking. Okay. Okay, I have no others that signed in, so I'm going to go to my email comments. The first is from Pamela Gay, and it reads, Dear Mayor and Council, my name is Pamela Gay. I live on Fredericksburg Drive. I'm the First Lady of Ward 4, daughter of iconic freedom rider, granddaughter to a white tycoon coal distributor, and also granddaughter to black farmers. I normally do not immortalize my titles, but now it's the perfect time to show my hand and influence. As I listen to council meetings week after week, especially the council meeting on 11/2/2022, things are going from bad to worse for the good city of College Park, Georgia. College Park residents have pleading with mayor and councils not to increase property taxes. This is a sad day for College Park, especially when Mayor and Councilman Clay have decided to vote for this increase. Mayor, when you ran for mayor, you put on your best outfit and stated that you were going to bring equality, justice, and a great quality of life for the city of College Park. Your tenure has been anything but that. You have deceived time and time again the people of College Park. You fight against a world-class community center for the entire city. Senior tax exemption signed by the governor should have been honored instead of amended, the tax that is being tested. Ward 4 Festival, and now you voted for higher property taxes for the whole city of College Park, Georgia. As the world and our city, College Park, is coming out of COVID, now we are facing the following: inflation, gas price soaring, increase in food costs, housing and financial increases. If you do not want to use our voices, then we do not want you all. We matter, the people of College Park matters. Mayor Bianca Motley Broom doesn't think that gas prices and groceries are too high. The mayor has voted to raise property taxes for the College Park. The mayor gave $900,000 to the group of people who are looking for a creek, but raising taxes on the people of our great city in College Park, Georgia. Yours truly, Pamela Gay, First Lady of Ward 4. The next comment is from Demetrius Taylor, and it reads, Greetings, all elected officials. I'm Demetrius Taylor, Secretary and Parliamentarian of the City of College Park Citizens Association, and I reside in Embarcadero Club Apartments in Ward 2. First, I want to say a grand thank you for the Christmas parade. Though I was unable to attend and I found out about it last minute, I did see some of the footage, and though it was a rainy day, the spirit of the event was vibrant. Thank you for keeping the tradition alive. Next, I want to ask, when was the last time anyone from Public Works traveled the city and cleaned the drains? We are all in the fall season and leaves are everywhere, causing many floods and pools of water throughout our streets. and intersections that can wreak havoc on communities. They say still waters run deep, and if we don't take care of this flooding and pooling of water, we will set ourselves up to have many unnecessary accidents. 36 minutes, really? I am certain that my councilman did not agree to such foolishness, as he is one of the continuously states that it's the people from whom we need to hear. I'm sure he was outvoted on this, and I'm requesting that, even demanding that you reconsider this for public comments. How is that fair that you only hear from us for 36 minutes total when we were subjected to you until the gavel goes down? Also, can someone let the people know who is responsible for making sure all of our developers are on point with their contractual agreements? With what we are experiencing, the Hawthorne Station, and the debacle we had with the First United Methodist Church a couple years back, when will the citizens know who is really doing what they promised to do, and if they are on point with their target dates? And finally, it is embarrassing to have exchange on social media about misspellings and wrong information coming from our communications department when they are supposed to be the professionals as communicating. Now, I may seem a little insensitive, but one thing we must always do is proofread everything before it goes out, as the city and one's personal reputation is at stake. Thank God this was not a printed flyer where monies were paid and then it had to be redone. Let's do better so we can be better. Thank you for your time, and I'm expecting answers. Those are my comments.
If anyone else wishes to speak, they can come up at this time. They've got 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'd like to greet you all tonight in the greetings of peace and understanding. And I pray that Almighty God guide every word that comes forth from my mouth tonight, and not to allow one word to be taken from its proper place by the mockery makers and criticizers. My name is Larry Brady Evans. I reside at 2112 West Princeton Avenue, College Park, Georgia. I'd like to greet you all in peace and give thanks to the city council, city officials, all the city employees who's made this season a great season. This season, the holiday season, with love, joy, and happiness. And I pray that that spirit continue in the hearts of those who are residents of College Park and the leaders of College Park, as well as employees. Let that spirit linger in your heart the rest of your life, and you will make College Park very nice. And I want to give a thanks to the former mayor, Jack P. Longino, and to the city council for naming the street that's being constructed from Camp Creek Parkway through the old Lolly Miller projects to naming it Lolly Miller Homes. We give a special thanks to you all for that, but it's a little bittersweet. It's sweet that you all had the compassion to remember those who lived in that community that you all are establishing to call 6 West. The bitter is that those of us who lost our way, I should say, that was shot down with the bullet of progress, and we still suffer in that community. It will never be back the way it was, and we don't expect it to. But it still lives in the mind of those who live there and grow there and learn the ways of life there. We carry that to heart. It's deeply rooted in our hearts and souls. I'm sure you all, wherever you're from, you may feel the same way about your childhood rearing and the place that you hold very dear in heart. Because I heard one lady say She was off to see the wizard, and she said, "There's no place like home." And I feel that as well. I'd like to thank you, but I would like to say, is there anyone in this chamber tonight who would allow me to have 3 minutes? Will you please raise your hand? Thank you so kindly. Well, I don't think it'll take 3 minutes to say this, but I thank you all, and we do suffer. And I hope we can go forward from here to make this city a better city. We're the gateway to the world. They say if you go anywhere, you got to go through College Park to get to anywhere in the world. So let us be an example to the world to say that we love life and we respect others, and we carry that in our lives. And to all the city officials and people who are here, happy holidays. And I hope Santa brings you all the good luck and all the treats that you want in this world. And a happy new year. Thank you all as I came before you in the greetings of peace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none others, we will move forward. Item 6A is consideration of an action on a request on direction from the Municipal Court Operations Update from Judge Monica Ewing. Good evening, Your Honor. How are you?
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
I'm here this evening, I believe everyone should have the memo that I drafted about the issues. I'm coming in to recommend to the council.
Did you talk a little
Could you-
bit into that microphone?
Pull the microphone
There
down.
we go.
Yeah,
That's- yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. It's my recommendation that the city of College Park amend its organizational chart to separate the municipal court from the police department. So that they would service in two different departments. There are a lot of recent rulings that have determined that having a municipal court staff that's supervised by the chief of police presents an obvious conflict of interest, and at best, an obvious appearance of impropriety to the public. In 2017, GMA included language that recommended no municipal court personnel be supervised by the police department. This gives a perception to the public that the deck is stacked against them if they are aware of the fact that the police department actually supervises and oversees the court operations. So I believe it's in the best interest of the city of College Park to address this issue by separating the two departments. I mean, there can obviously be discussions as to who would be the department head. Some jurisdictions use the chief judge, some use the court administrator. I don't come before you with any preference on that. It would just be a matter of whatever the decision would be made.
All right. Questions? We'll start with Councilman Clay.
Well, I think that everything Judge Ewing said made sense when I read her letter. There may be some administrative issues. So if we move it out of the police department, which I think is good in the sense of separation of powers, both from a practical and from an appearance standpoint. And I agree with what you're saying there. And probably from a legal standpoint at some point.
Yes, sir.
The person that would be in charge of the department would be the chief judge, is that correct?
It can be. I mean, it's done in several different ways. Some jurisdictions, it's the chief judge, and some jurisdictions, it's a court administrator.
A court
And it would
administrator.
just be a determination of how the city would want to staff that.
Because the administrative aspect of it, we contract with the judges on a
Correct.
yearly basis. And somehow I think you want more stability than that. So I don't know whether that means that the chief judge would be, quote, hired, and now you're talking about, I don't know, the concept of a judge also being an employee as opposed to a contract. That makes me wonder what the appearance aspect would be. If we have an administrator, that would be a position then would report to the city manager, I presume.
That's correct.
And that person would not be a judge per se. They would not be making legal decisions. They would be making administrative decisions with regard to how the court is run, both efficiently, effectively, and legally. Is that correct?
Right, and I've never approached this body with requesting a longer contract, so that really isn't the impetus for
No, I
my
know. I
statement.
know, I'm just,
I think it could go either, it works in either, in either capacity. I mean, in Fulton County, those judges are employees of the county, and the Supreme Court of Georgia, those judges are employees, so.
I'm sorry, in Fulton County, the judges are employees?
They're employees of Fulton County, so
Of
for a
Fulton.
judge to be an employee would not be an unusual situation.
Okay,
There's
so
no
it could
real-
be that way.
Yes, sir, there's no.
But I
conflict.
would,
There would be no-
hope that that employee would be an employee for longer than a one-year contract.
We-
And
we would all
your
hope that.
contract, as are the other judges, are one-year contracts.
That's correct. And if
Okay.
the city chose to keep it that way, then obviously we would need to have a court administrator who would become a regular employee for the city.
Okay, now, those are the issues that I wanted to surface, and I'd like to hear what the other council people think of, and the mayor thinks of those things, and I'll pass it on.
Councilman Carn?
Thank you, Judge, for coming. Couple of things I would say. I think the departments do need to be separated. I think that's a safer way to do it. I understand that Ferguson ruling specified that. And in any form of government, you know, the judicial branch cannot be controlled by the law enforcement branch. I mean, that's an obvious issue, and I've always kind of had an issue with that issue. There wasn't enough impetus to make the changes up here, but I hope there is now. Our department heads are generally on a year-to-year contract, and they handle their departments. So if a current judge is elevated to department head, it'd be the same as other department heads on a year-to-year contract. I'm not so gung-ho about establishing another position, chief administrator, and another salary on top of salaries, but whatever form the separation takes place, I think we need to separate things. I think the easiest thing to do would be make it a department where some of the other cities, the courts are headed by the current contracted judge, just like the police department is headed by the current contracted police chief, or the fire department is headed by the current contracted fire chief. Obviously, courts are a little bit different, and you got to have that independence and autonomy of operation. I get that. One of the things I looked at in your information here on the fourth paragraph, give me some more information, some detail about this technology court thing and the dilemma and where it came from.
Okay. I came to College Park in 2012, and when I first came, the court needed desperately to be updated from a technology standpoint. There had been a recent decision by the state legislature to allow us as judges to create what was called a court technology fund. And by doing so, we were allowed to add up to $25 per citation to create a bucket. And if you know how most of you know from a budget standpoint how the court fines work, there are buckets where we're required to put certain amounts in. And so this would create a new bucket that would be for court technology. And what that allowed me to do was to self-fund all of the technology improvements of the court at the time, and it's supposed to continue to allow me to do that long-term because I'm collecting that money for that purpose. But over time, what happens is, because we are under the police department and our budget is a sub-budget under the PD, that money has somehow become a part of the police department's budget. And those funds are utilized in ways that however the police department chooses to use them. The problem with that is the very legislation that created that makes that my responsibility. So that should we ever get audited, I'm the one who's going to be challenged about the usage of the funds, it being used in any way other than in ways that support technology. Now, we never use that. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars since I've been here in that fund. We don't need that much money in the court. Our technology is not that complicated. But what we've been able to do in the past and in other jurisdictions is to work together with the PD, the things that the PD needs it, we can justify. At one point, Councilman Carn, you may recall, we were able to approve the cameras downtown come out of the fund because we could argue that the cameras were recording data that somehow could become evidence, you know, before the court. So we have some flexibility, but when it's used to buy police cars and all kinds of other things, I can't justify that. The challenge I've had is that I can't get an honest answer about it. Historically, if I come and I say, and this is not against any one person, this is 10 years of an issue, and I say, we need this in the court, I want to use a technology fund, I'll hear, oh, there's no money in that, or you don't, you know, you can't access that. And so my frustration with that is, at this point, if we can't use it properly, I have to stop collecting it because I'm responsible for that. And so when I started these conversations, when I came first to try to have these conversations, that really was the beginning of what I was coming to say. Look, I don't want any smoke. You know, I'm just trying to do my job, stay out of the politics. But this right here, we have to fix. So it either has to become available for us to use in court the way it's intended, or we have to stop collecting that fund. That's all there is to it. And that's kind of where these conversations started several years ago.
So thank you for that. So state law puts that into the court's purview for technology-related, court-related stuff. Okay. I know there are a lot of other things we're looking at and things that have happened when COVID was going on. You know, I was Fulton County Commissioner then, and I understand our courts, it was just sheer turmoil.
Not in College Park.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I wasn't aware of what was going on. Yeah. So I understand we're virtual now. Yes. And can you talk about how that's going compared to what before COVID or whatever? Yes. In March of 2020, I'd had an idea for a while. In March of 2020, okay. Is that better? I'm sorry. Yeah. When we started having the issues with COVID, it was pretty obvious for those of us that do what we do, we were getting ready to have a problem. And so I actually can't stand Zoom. And I can have as many as 200 people on a calendar at a time. And what I knew for me was that was going to make me nauseous. All that activity, all that motion. So I actually went to someone who does software development, and I said, for me, right, can you create something I can use that meets all the constitutional requirements that Zoom doesn't, that's encrypted so it's, you know, it's safe. And so this company got excited about it and created a system called iCourt. And we were one of the first cities to launch it. We started using it in September of 2020, and we've never stopped. So every time you heard about the county shutting down and all the other jurisdictions shutting their courts down and they're trying to move back to Zoom, we have never stopped having court. So to this day, if there's ever an issue, now we've had personnel issues where we've had to stop because we didn't have enough people or we didn't have the people that were certified administratively, and we had to pause until we could get people in place. But when it came to the pandemic or anything else that was happening, we have been able to just carry on as a result of that. But that's technology that I have a bill for right now for $20,000 that I need to get paid out of my technology fund, not my fund, but out of the court technology fund. And that issue just continues to recycle. I say I have this bill, I have to take it to the PD, I have to remember to get it to them at a certain window because I'm not a department head, so I'm not accustomed to that process, to remind them it needs to be in the budget so that we can pay the bill, and then there's sometimes pushback telling me there's no money in the fund, which we've never used, so that doesn't make sense. It just continues to create this sort of contentious relationship for us
that we shouldn't have.
Well, hopefully, you all get that straightened out and work it out with the city manager and get it straightened out. I had a few questions that I sent the city manager before you came up, but I've realized that some of those questions that you cannot answer, and I understand it's between finance and the police department, will have some of the answers, and a couple of them that the courts can answer. So I just want to make sure I get all those questions answered by the proper outfits, because I got some of the answers, but I want to make sure I just get the complete understanding of those numbers that I'm asking for, the ones that I can get. Last thing I say, I know it's been over 10 years, and you've been with us, and I know there's some stuff that we can't talk about out here, but I think obviously we need to talk about that. So if we have to do that in executive session, I think we need to do that if it's something we can talk about or get into. I don't know what your pleasure is, but what we're looking at, but I've read the whole body of this letter, so that's all I got for now. But if we do need to have an executive session, make it, if we can make it quick, if we do need to have one, but I don't know if we need to have one or not. So that's all I have, and thank you for all the service.
You're welcome.
Councilman Allen?
First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
In reading this and listening to you, I totally agree with everything you're saying.
Thank you.
Can you use the technology funds to pay a administrator out of those funds, or are you restricted, or?
I think if we had hired our own personal IT person in court, which really wouldn't be a bad idea now that we're fully virtual, I do believe, because I made that proposal to another jurisdiction as well, I believe that if it was an IT person specifically there to maintain the operation of the court systems that we use, that could be funded by the Court Technology Fund.
Okay. I just, again, I totally agree with you. I believe it should be kept separate. I think it's just a matter of us getting together with legal, the city manager, finance, and coming up for a way, and the police department, coming up with a way. And again, it might not happen until next budget, but I think we need to kind of work on this and separate those to make sure we're doing it the correct way.
Thank you.
Councilman Gay?
Yes, good evening, Judge.
Good evening.
Actually, I'm not that knowledgeable of a lot of the issues you're saying, so I wouldn't be able to vote tonight on a consideration and an action to amend the organizational chart. I would like to say that I think there should be more discussion with our IT director, as well as our police leadership, our city manager, and our city attorney, because obviously they would have more intelligence about what you're asking. I don't know. So as much as I like you, I wouldn't be able to just vote on this because I'm not that breast on what you're saying.
I think I heard consensus from Councilman Clay, Councilman Carn, and Councilman Allen to move forward with the process, or at least let me ask this. Is there consensus from the body to have Mr. Myers further explore the division of these two departments?
Yes.
Yes, I think there's,
Absolutely.
there's consensus for a separation. How that happens is
Right, and I think that would be something that would fall to the city manager in terms of
Absolutely.
how that's
We need a recommendation.
Right,
Yes, from
so
the
I
city manager.
hear consensus that we want to explore that a little bit more and see what it looks like.
Make sure that discussion includes, obviously, police, IT with the technology fund, if we could get some good guidance with IT on that. But everybody, I want to make sure everyone's involved with that.
Yes, that's why I called the meeting with the judge. She knows I called her, and I also called her city attorney, and we had the meeting, so we wanted to make sure where the city was at in this process. Requested her here to plead her case, even though she's a judge. And that's why we're here today.
Good.
So I'm moving forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Denmark?
Madam Mayor, I think the issues that Judge Ewing raises are, and I know there may have been some sentiment about next budget cycle. I think we need to move with some haste to make these things happen. I mean, obviously, the council is going to deliberate on this, and you want a good recommendation, specifics, you want your questions answered. But I think it's incumbent upon the staff to give you the information tools to make a decision sooner rather than later, because I'm not certain that these issues should wait.
I would agree.
Well,
So, Mr. Myers, if we can take this up at the next meeting, if there can be a recommendation, is that possible?
Everything's possible.
Is it, let me, yes, everything is possible.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll do the best I can. We'll get with all parties concerned.
And can I just, for clarity, add one more thing based on some of the things that you were raising as concerns? The police department interaction with our court is that my staff, the people that work in court with me, are police department employees. They are civilian police department employees. So I don't know why that would be a big, why that's something we have to really talk a lot about. They just shouldn't be. And they really should be employees of the municipal court. Right. And when it comes to IT supports our department like they do yours. The College Park IT team simply manages if our internet goes out or if we have issues with our court operating. They do the same as they do from everyone else. So they are not involved in the operation of the iCourt system at all. We pay iCourt a separate fee to provide us with IT support for that software. So I just want to make sure everybody, you know that when you think about it, because if you try to talk to those, they won't know because they are not who provides that support for us.
I have a question,
Yes, sir.
Judge. If IT is not involved with iCourt system, how does that system connect to your legal organization?
So we purchased an entirely different computer system because none of our computers had cameras on them. And our staff, many of our staff do virtual court in the courtroom because the clerks are still coming in the court every day. So we had to get computers that had cameras. We did not have the technology for that. And iCourt is like an app. It's a separate system. It doesn't connect, it doesn't use anything associated with College Park except internet.
Well, wait a minute. So does it connect? That's where I'm going, actually. Does it connect through our network?
It does not.
So how does it get out of
It's just an internet-based software.
the city?
It doesn't come into the only thing that comes into the city is Syscon. And that's our court operating system. That's not the, iCourt is just the visual court, the virtual court system.
Right.
All of the stuff we've always stored, people's histories, people's private information is still in Syscon, still encrypted through the city. None of that changes.
Okay, so if we shut down the firewall, you can still conduct court.
That's correct.
We pull the plug on the firewall and say it's illegal to go through the firewall. If you're a part of the court system, it would not shut you down.
No, sir, I'll just take a swig of my water and keep working. Doesn't bother us at all. We don't interact, there's nothing, and that's what's great about it. If I was using Zoom, it's different, but I don't, it's a entirely
Who do you pay your internet bill to?
I don't pay any. I don't have a budget.
No, somebody
You're gonna
has
have to ask the police department. I don't know.
Well,
I have one other comment.
Yes, sir?
Hold on one second, Councilman.
I didn't get an answer to my question.
I don't know. I don't have access to the budget. I don't have any access to
So the police department
my budget
pays
is
it.
controlled by the police department, correct.
Well, then I know we have a new chief.
I think the city pays it, right? The city provides internet for the city.
Well, ultimately, we pay
Right,
it
the
all.
city
But
pays internet for the city.
If the city, I'm sorry, but if the city provides internet service to you the way it provides internet service to the other departments, you go through the firewall. Okay? And the reason I'm being difficult about this is that we had malware attacks a couple years ago,
I'm aware
and
of
we
that.
avoided shutting the city down, fortunately. For more, I think we were down for like a day and a half compared to Atlanta that was down for months, literally. So I'm the techno geek. I worry about these things, and I'm sorry for giving you a hard time. But I don't think it's a good idea to exclude the IT department, at least in that area of communication.
So absolutely was not the purpose for my statement, to ask you not to invite them. It was simply to make sure you understood who's doing what, so you would know who could answer those questions.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Carn?
City Attorney,
I think I was next.
well, you can go next. Go ahead.
Councilman
and
Carn,
then
go
I'll
right ahead.
I'll go after you. if you-
Councilman Carn, go right ahead.
City Attorney, so essentially, there's a consensus to separate. We've got to figure out the how. Let the city manager figure that out. Well, first, I think, one of the things we always do is get a lot of consensuses up here. Should we make that a vote in terms of what our intentions, or should we just leave it at that? I always say we do too many consensus up here. And the reason why I ask, there are very real legal reasons why those departments probably should be separated. And between here and Christmas and next year, God forbid, if something were to happen, I want a vote on the record in terms of what we're trying to do here. And it doesn't hurt, obviously we don't know how we're gonna get there, but I think a vote, if we make a consensus, we should vote if we want to separate, not how we separate, not when we separate, not the parameters, but at least a vote on what we want to do here. I've heard several council members complain about too many consensus up here and not enough definitive votes because it leaves things kind of murky. Last thing I'll say, the last paragraph of this information is, I guess that's something we can't talk about out here, and I wanted to get into that. So can we get into that in an executive session, or is that something, whatever everyone's pleasure is? But I'd like to talk about it, but I don't think we can talk about it out here.
What's the last paragraph?
In regard to Judge Ewing's compensation.
Well, the law says what you may discuss in executive session. It does not say what you must discuss in executive session. So you are free to discuss it in open, but it is always more prudent to discuss it back there.
Well, I'd rather discuss it in the back, if it doesn't take too long.
Well, next meeting, we can do it in executive session.
All right, well.
Councilman Carn, I mean, to your earlier point, though, you can take a vote, but I don't think you're required to do so. I mean, it is sufficient for the council by consensus to direct the city manager and the staff to bring you back a recommendation at the next meeting that you can vote on. However, if it is your pleasure and the will of the council, you can certainly take a vote to put a record that you want to separate the two.
Well, I would like to make a motion along those lines that it's the intent to separate and to look into it and have city manager start to look into that. I think it'd be good to have that on record as a vote. Now, I would make a motion on that. If it dies, it dies, but I think we need to vote on these things and let folks know where we stand on one thing or another. And again, I think we need to vote on the intent of what we want to do. How we get there is up to the city manager and the team. So,
Could you restate your motion?
I would make a motion that we vote for an intent to separate these departments, and we're instructing the city manager to get with staff, police, and whoever else, legal, and to come up with a plan and bring it back to us.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Gay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Councilman Allen, are those opposed?
I vote no.
All right, so we have 2 in favor, 1 abstention, 1 no. So the ayes carry it. Correct? Mr. Denmark? There were 2 in favor,
2 in favor, yes.
1 abstained,
Yes,
1 no.
One no, yes.
So the motion passes. All right. Thank you, Judge Ewing. Appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
think I had a
Oh, I
comment.
apologize. I apologize, Councilman Gay. Go right ahead.
No
Yes,
worries.
sir.
I was trying to address the last item as well, and I heard they want to discuss it. I'm happy to discuss it tonight if it's okay with the body.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And that was a question to my colleague.
Doesn't make a difference to me, whatever y'all want to do.
I would think that having the conversation about how we're actually going to do this and who would be in charge of it.
No, the last item.
If you'd let me finish, thank you. That who's in charge of this department matters in terms of that person's compensation. So having the conversation about who's over it without understanding who that person is and what their duties are going to be seems to be an incomplete conversation regarding compensation. But
I'm confused. Is this compensation for, who are you referring this compensation for?
one of the things that Judge Ewing brought up was that in a municipal court, that can either be run by the chief judge or the chief administrator. I would think that if the chief judge is the one who is running the court, that would be compensation that would be in addition to what they are doing in terms of running the courtroom itself on a day-to-day basis. And so we would either have to have the conversation twice, or, because I mean, if there's going to be a court administrator doing it, then the role of the chief judge is different. So learning about the roles and the responsibilities as we structure this department matters, I think, in terms of compensation. And so if we have the conversation tonight, we might end up coming back around if the chief judge is the person who's going to be at the top. Does that make sense?
You proposed it, can you clarify?
I mean, I do understand what the mayor is saying, that my whole point of bringing the issue up is just simply that it's been 11 years. And the salary that I am paid now is a salary I was paid 11 years ago without any cost of living increases of any kind. And that the former person in my position, when I started, made $20,000 more than I do now. And I was told that I was being paid what I was being paid, which was $20,000 less than him, because he had been here for a while. And I've now been here 11 years, and so I'm coming back around to say, has it been a while enough for us to try to address that?
Let me just say one thing. I remember when we appointed our first female fire chief of this city, and there was a consensus to hire the person. The person was well qualified, but when it came to salary, there was a discrepancy, and I won't call any names. A lot of y'all weren't even here, but I think it was completely unfair, and I said, no way. This person is going to be paid the equal amount that the male former person was paid, and I made sure that that happened because we want equity, and we want fairness, obviously, in this city. I don't want anyone to leave this meeting with the impression that the last judge, who was a male, who received a payment and salaries, and this woman who has been here for 10 plus years, 11 years with us, is not getting consideration. Regardless of if we have a chief administrator or not, the judge has to be properly compensated. And if our male judge was properly compensated, our female judge and first female judge, I might add, should be properly compensated. So however y'all want to do this, I think it's something that we need to discuss. And if we have to discuss it twice, that's perfectly fine and all right. But with an administrator or not, it's been 11 years. So either way, I think we need to do the right thing and make a decision. And talk, or at least talk about it. So.
Councilman Clay?
Guys, I think we're making an organizational decision, and I think we need all the facts. And in my mind, if I understand how our court system works, you are the judge, and you have additional judges that can help out if you're not here and so forth.
That's correct.
To give you the responsibility to be the total administrator of additional personnel who logically ought to come over from the police department based on what you've written to us.
Yes, sir.
That's going to take a bunch of your time. So regardless of whether you have a chief administrator or you have a chief judge, you're probably going to need maybe another judge assisting you who is doing part of the regular judging. And we're having a discussion right now with incomplete facts. We need to hear from HR. We need to look at salary schedules. We need to look at what other cities are doing. And in your write-up, you said other cities have implemented it in some cases. We need to look at those. We don't have those facts. There are cities that are looking at it. Well, it might be good to talk to them too. I don't want to go off half-cocked and spend an hour or two running in circles in executive session to make a decision with incomplete facts that we don't have and can't generate on the spot. So I don't see any point in going into executive session to discuss this issue anymore tonight. We've taken a vote. Not only did we say consensus, but we even voted that we're going to get the recommendation from the city manager, and it has nothing to do, in my mind right now, with male, female. It has to do with the responsibilities of the chief judge, and I don't care whether they're male, female, or Martian. They should get what they should get paid. So I think it's premature to discuss it in detail tonight, and a lot of it I think might even be inappropriate for executive session. I'm not sure about that, but so depending on how we wax and wane on that. So that's where I'm coming from, and I totally agree with Councilman Carn in the sense that I'm a great believer in paying for the job, not the person, that whether they're male, female, or Martian. So that's my position on it.
All right. I think that we have talked this one out.
Yep.
Judge, appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your consideration.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6B is consideration of an action on a request for approval of fiscal year 2021-2022 budget closeout. Any questions for Ms. Lord Bradley on this? Councilman Clay?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Any discussion? Councilman Clay?
I have no questions. We obviously need to do it. It's the right thing to do, and I didn't see anything extraordinary in it. I didn't even send any pre-meeting questions, so I'm good.
Councilman Carr?
Just one quick question. It's a small thing. The Public Works Department, with the ARPA funds, were they included in terms of like frontline
No, this is
employees?
just
Was
the
it
police.
police
Yeah,
and fire only?
Public safety, correct.
Okay, public safety. I was just
Yes.
curious about that. Okay, that answers that question.
Councilman Allen?
No question.
Councilman Gay?
I just want to say for the record, for those who are listening, that on package page 38, the total revenue for the proposed budget fiscal year 2021-2022 am I reading that right? That's 143 million?
Yes, sir.
143,644,626 dollars. So that's 143,644,626 dollars. And that's all I have.
Ms. Fleur Bradley, a question for you in regard to that $143,644,000.
It's actually $143,960,000.
143, yeah, thank you. So that is comprised of a number of different funds, is that correct?
Yes, it's about over 20 funds.
And all of those funds, do they go into what our residents may see on a daily basis?
With the exception of electric, sanitation, their utility services, they're all involved. The GICC, stormwater. The general fund budget is $37,682,830, and that's primarily what goes to basically the city operations related to the residents.
Okay, so that's the general fund of 37 million is what we do: police, fire,
correct,
public works, recreation.
Yes.
Okay.
HR, finance.
Understood. All right. Councilman Carn?
Althea, can you just a quick, the packet page 39, the hospitality line, the 11,242. Can you just give me the big chunks of that so I can make sure?
That's hotel, motel, tax dollars.
All right.
And that basically, those funds they're transferred out to pay debt services in the arena, GICC, that even supplements the general fund budget by $2.5 million. So those funds are transferred to other funds to help supplement their budget.
Okay, all that's hotel, motel.
All of it is hotel, motel. $2 million goes to DMO.
That includes the $2 million from the DMO?
Yes, sir.
Used to be close to 3, but that's a whole nother conversation.
It's 2 right now.
All right,
yes.
okay, that includes that. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that answers my question.
Okay.
I have one more comment.
Yes, sir.
When I speak of the budget, I understand clearly that we have general funds, and so I just want to be clear that that's not my intent when I make those comments. I think the average citizen doesn't know the difference one way or the other. We debated it till tomorrow. What I just still want to say that $143 million came through this city's coffers.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fuller Bradley, in regard to restrictions on those funds, I'm just curious. I mean, we can't just use $143 million for whatever we want. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct. We have special revenue and grant funds that have to be used for specific purposes, so they cannot be used for anything other than that. Even the car rental tax funds, they have to be used for specific purposes.
Understood. All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
That was unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuller Bradley. Item 7A is consideration of an action on a request to purchase 10 bypass switches for Nova reclosers.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Gay, second by Councilman Clay. Any conversation, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Then that is unanimous. Thank you.
Good job, Glenn.
Item 7B.
Stand right here.
Yeah, there's another one. Consideration of an action on a request for authorization to issue credits to commercial accounts that have cooling towers. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. May I have a second? I didn't hear.
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration of, item 7C is consideration of an action on a request for approval for Sunbelt Rentals to set up the bypass pump at the Southwest Lift Station to prevent the pumps from being damaged. This was an emergency repair. I believe we are ratifying the city manager's decision. Is that correct?
Motion?
I'll second with discussion.
Okay. All right. There's been a, Councilman Gay, you made a motion. Is that correct?
Yes.
And Councilman Clay, you seconded?
Correct.
And you wanted discussion. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So this has already been done, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the amount that we're approving tonight, is that equipment still installed there?
No, sir. The bypass pump has been removed.
Okay, so it was just there temporarily until we could fix the other pump that was leaking.
Yes, sir. We had two spools that were leaking inside the basement, and we had the spools replaced.
Okay, and, you know, I apologize, I never sent you a heads up, and I don't know why. But we're here, we are where we are. We constantly are having problems with this lift station. This is where we're pursuing a grant, true, Jackson?
Yes, Mayor, Council, I'd like to add on to that. We've done an infrastructure grant, pardon me.
Okay.
We did an infrastructure grant and we're supposed to have known about it in October, then it went to November, now it's into December, and it's through the Congressman David Scott's office that gave us about just a little bit over $3.5 million. I don't know exactly to the
That's
penny.
what I thought, about $4
Yeah,
million.
we asked for 6, but we got about 3 something. And so I've tried to contact Jennifer today and left a email or voicemail, but I haven't got back to her. But this is a great big sore for the city.
Yes.
And I've been trying to also, you know, we've got this most. I thought it was going to be the October 1st, then I thought it was going to be November 1st, and then January 1st. Now they're talking about the Department of Revenue is going to get it until February 1st. So I was looking at how we could take the most, because that's what it is. Municipal option sales tax is for sewer. So I've talked to the GFA. I've talked to them about being able to, because that's what GFA does, is water and sewer, storm, and I've already had a meeting with GFA about it. I'm trying to find out what I'm bringing in on the most so I can figure out how to pay it back through the most municipal option sales tax. So there's a lot of things I've done behind the scenes that we've never talked about, but now you know.
But we do have a grant in the works.
We have a grant that's not necessarily.
That doesn't cover it?
No, it doesn't cover it anyway. Even if we got the grant, it wouldn't cover it, but I don't know if it's ever, I don't know what's happening with, I don't know what the federal government's doing right now, so. You know,
Okay, well, at least we appreciate the problem and are trying to get that lift station basically rebuilt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got things in that lift station that I haven't seen since, what was a punch machine that I had in 1972.
That's outdated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys working the issue. We gotta get that grant, and gotta get money somewhere and gotta get that thing rebuilt. You know, you talk about a lot of other things, but that's gonna be really, really important. So, okay, I guess that's all I have in the way of discussion.
Councilman Carr, anything?
Nope, that's all I got.
Councilman Allen?
No.
Councilman Gay?
I had made the motion.
Right. Just wanted to make sure you had any discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. That is a unanimous, gentlemen. Item 7D is consideration of an action on a request for approval to replace an 8-inch sanitary sewer main at 1457 Virginia Avenue and relocate existing sewer main from under the building and install a new manhole.
Motion to approve with discussion.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. Is there a second?
Second with discussion.
Thank you, Councilman Carn.
That
Go
was
right
Clay.
ahead. Go right ahead, I'm sorry? I heard Councilman Carn.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't
I
even
think you
hear
both said
Joe.
it, but yeah, Councilman Carn was the one I heard.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councilman Clay. We'll
Anyhow.
work our way down.
Obviously, we need to do it. The question I have is, we have an issue on Main Street with the sewer that I think Breakfast Boys contributes to it. Several other businesses along there contributed to that line that then runs, it's running across private property, and then it goes into the cities.
That's correct.
Okay. This strikes me as being something similar in that if it's under a building, it's on private property.
This particular case is that we have an easement across this property, which comes out behind the barbecue place, and then comes behind the liquor store, and then comes across by Happy Buddha. Where over there at the property you're talking about is totally private property, and then so it's not the same. It's not even close to being the same.
Well, what I don't understand is we have an easement on the other property. The easement is something that is granted by the property owners, is it not?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay, so why can't the property owners behind that have the property that is involved in the Main Street issue, why can't they grant an easement to the city? And then the city will do the repair on the common sewer line that is not one person's sewer line. It is effectively a city sewer line on private property. So we'll get the owners to give an easement. The city will take responsibility for the thing, and we'll get it fixed. Because I constantly am getting two or three complaints this year of sewerage backing up along this property. So why can't we do the same thing? Get the property owners to grant an easement to the city, and we'll take responsibility for it.
It's not the property owner, it's the property that owns a single-family home. And we went down there and we said we wanted to get a right to entry. So he says, all right, we'll give you a right to entry. We leave it on his porch, ask him to sign it, then he come back and he's not gonna sign it. It's more than just us taking over. It's almost like an eminent domain situation. It's not like just give us, because he won't even give us the right to entry, and not us, but the plumber, the right to entry to fix it.
To fix the problem.
Fix the problem. So the owner itself won't let plumbing people work and fix the problem. So we just can't just take over. I'm sorry.
I think this is perhaps there needs to be
I think we
additional
need to discuss this offline, and I want to be involved.
All right.
Separate subject.
Okay. Councilman Carn?
Well, I'm good.
Councilman Allen?
This is an issue that's been going on, and it does back up the sewage at the barbecue kitchen. It goes into the Chinese place as well. This is something that's very, very needed badly for a long time, and we're going to have to, it's crushed underneath there, so we're not going to be able to dig it out, so we're going to have to do a brand new line, and I totally agree with that.
Yep, totally agree.
Councilman Gay?
Yeah, I just have a sidebar comment. Tim, there are several repairs that have been completed or ongoing in my ward, and none of them have been covered. We need the place removed. If the repairs are covered, we need them to cover this. I'm getting calls. I talked to the city manager about it for the repairs that have been done. Herschel Road,
yes.
Janice Drive,
Yes.
Lake Shore. There's several others.
Well, Janet Drive, we have a leak over there on Janet Drive. So I reached out to Prime Engineering to see could we, it's a 2-inch water main. Mm-hmm. And Prime Engineer suggested that it's 3 houses that's on there, to just run a small 3/4 inch line to each home. So we're gonna do that in-house.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we have a motion.
Yes, we do. We have a motion and a second. Councilman Carn, did you have anything to add?
I was gonna say, I'm assuming we can repair a 2-inch water main. So you answered that, so we can do that. Okay.
Well, we're gonna take that 2-inch, because it's galvanized, we're gonna take that out of service and just run 3 3/4 inch lines.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous. We don't have any old business, new business. I believe there is item 9A. Councilman Carn?
Yeah, I wanted to take a minute to talk about this, and I thought it was something that we should discuss. I understand that the City of College Park has received a significant in-kind contribution from the online retail giant Amazon. I was told we received $30,000 worth of Christmas toys for our kids in the city. Now, that's what you call a blessing. I can remember I was 26 when I had my youngest girl, Kelly. I mean, now she's married and her husband, and they have children of their own. They live out in Spalding County, but I know firsthand of the kind of worry and stress of making sure, that you're able to get them toys that they want and mostly deserve, while at the same time trying to meet all your obligations to your bills living in College Park. I lived in multifamily for many years. Now, we get contributions of some kind every year from some of our community partners, but this gift dwarfs just about anything that we've received as a city since I've been here in office. So, first of all, we're obviously very grateful and very thankful, considering, the cost of living and inflation right now, Lord knows. But I wanted us to discuss this as a group in terms of the best way to distribute this, if this is a city gift for the city of College Park and not someone's personal gift. As for me, I have 2 Christmas events scheduled in Ward 2. One is December 17th, and the other is set for December 21st. Now, the fire truck visit, we've had it. It's a great thing. It's great. It was great last year, except for the rain, but it was nice. All of our kids would still appreciate that visit. But for my community, a drive-by at 10:30 in the morning, based on whoever's schedule, I don't know who, may not be the best way to bring gifts to my kids. And when I say my kids, I've literally got teenagers. I've got young parents who I can remember were 5 and 6 years old that still live in our apartment complexes that I've literally watched grow up. So I feel like they're my kids too. And in my community, and I'm only speaking for my preference in terms of distribution when we get something like this, we try to have a more family-oriented event. In my community, ours is done inside of the apartment clubhouses. We have a meal of some sort. We set up a tree. We decorate. We have Christmas music. And we try to provide enough presents for everybody, but we usually run out before every kid gets what they want. Now, that's what has worked for my community, and it's worked for us since '05 because I've had community meetings, and I sat down and I asked them, what kind of event do y'all want? Why? I mean, because we're not a one-size-fits-all city. My kids love to see Santa Claus just like anybody else, but my Santa Claus for my community event may not look like your Santa Claus. And hey, that's okay because we're a diverse city. Just look up here as an example. This city council is probably by far one of the most diverse in this community. We're more diverse than East Point, more diverse than Union City, more diverse than South Fulton, and all of those combined. We got black here, we got white, we got in between, we got male, female, we got parents, we've got some that aren't parents, we got grandparents up here, we've got some of us that still are lucky to have our parent, a living parent. Well, some of us are lucky to have a grandparent. We got various religious denominations, we're all different. The point is, when a holiday comes up, I want us to consider all of our preferences. So let's ask what works for everybody. And I'm only speaking for myself. I think it's a great thing, but the way we distribute this stuff, I want to try to figure out something that works for everybody and not just someone say, here's what we're doing and this is it. So I wanted us to discuss this, and I wanted to get everybody's thoughts, in particular where, a city as a whole receives an in-kind contribution. So I wanted to get everybody's opinion on this. I could tell you what I need. I have those 2 events, and I need coverage with toys for those events. That's what I would like. Now, whatever everybody else would like is up to them, but let's discuss it.
Well, let me provide a little insight, because the folks at Amazon reached out specifically having seen this event last year and said that they wanted to participate in this particular event. And so the money actually was not given to the city of College Park.
Who was it given to?
It was given to the College Park Main Street Association. And so
That's the city of College Park.
They are a nonprofit, and that's where the money went. And so the intention for Amazon in their generous $35,000 donation was to fund this particular event. And so that is what has been executed, because that was what they intended the money to be for.
And I'm fine with this event. I'm fine with doing this event. One of my Christmas parties is the same day as the event. All I am asking is that I have toys for my event on that day and the 21st. Now, based on the roundtable, the schedule that you put together here, now, if you get $30,000 worth of toys out at all those events, great. I'm just saying what I need from this event, and Amazon can still do it. If you want to have the fire truck deliver the toys, that's great. But at 10:30, I wouldn't get next to a handful of kids to be out to get toys where we're having an event on the inside with the kids and the parents, and they would much more appreciate the delivery that way. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to stop the event at all. I think it should go on. And if you all can make the drop early, we get the toys, and we have our event scheduled for the time that we had scheduled to have it, because every year we're kind of struggling to find toys for a Christmas event.
Let me just mention that the last couple of years I've been part of this. My wife has made me dress up like an elf, but and riding on the fire truck. But the fire truck goes through every single ward. I think it went through every single apartments. I don't know how in the world you do it between 9 and 12. It's usually a lot longer than that. But when the fire truck hits the siren, as Chief knows, there's a lot of kids that come out and are very, very excited that they can look, they can pick a toy, and it hit every one of the apartments in my ward, I can tell you that. And the kids were very, very excited, and all of the kids, or all of the presents, went to the kids in College Park. Sometimes when we've had events at the Tracy Wyatt Center, people have come in and picked up presents that were not citizens of College Park. I think this is good because it goes out, they get a chance to see Santa Claus, they get a chance to look at the presents, they get a chance to pick the presents, and every single one of them goes home with a smile. So this is good from Amazon. I think that we need to look at some of the other programs we got, and if we can get other sponsors for other programs, I think that's good. But this is a good program, and I think we need to make sure we keep it.
And Ken, I agree. I want to keep it. I want to make sure the fire truck hits the Ward 2 apartments as well. All I'm asking is, in terms of how the toys are given for what I need for my community events. And if there are toys left over, if there are toys available, if those 2 apartments are expecting toys, that's how these apartment complexes, these apartment managers would like to receive them in this way.
I mean, I think if there's toys left over, that we can certainly have that conversation.
I want to have the conversation. That's why I brought it up and I put it on the agenda. And usually there are, I'm understanding. So I don't want to stop the delivery. I want it to cover everywhere. I think it's a great event, which is what I said in the first place. I'm not trying to derail an event or stop an event. All I'm saying is, I had plans and I was looking for toys. Nobody on council knew about this until it popped up on the agenda, which I'm glad it did. But a lot of times when we get stuff like this, it's good to discuss it and figure out the best way to get the toys to the kids. This is a great way. But so are our Christmas events that we have traditionally, and we can never seem to get toys for that. So,
But
and this is just for me. This is just my
But
district.
if somebody was
Everyone's district
sponsoring
different.
your event, I don't think I should get part of that for my award.
Understood.
You know,
But this is
I
a
think if
city,
somebody's
this is a city
sponsoring it for an
sponsorship.
event, it should go to that.
I don't disagree, and it's going towards that event. The only difference here would be the 2 deliveries at the 2 apartments that I happen to be having events at. All I'm asking is that the delivery be later a few hours later, and the other one is set for the 21st. That's all I'm asking.
I want to make sure that we make sure that the intention of Amazon's contribution is for this event.
Got it.
And I am concerned that if we start doing different things with it, that we will be in a position to not be not be a beneficiary next year.
Not at
I
all,
want to
Mayor.
make sure that we are good stewards of this and do it because they said we want to support this particular event. And so if there is an opportunity afterwards, if there are other things that we have the chance to do, I think that's great, but I think that we need to prioritize the support for the event that in the way that it was intended.
I understand it, but Amazon also intended for those toys to get to our young people as well, I would imagine. And again, at 10:30 in the morning, my kids aren't going to get to the number of toys that they need for the number of kids that we have. So all I'm saying is, their intent is to deliver in the fire truck and everything is great. And I want the fire truck at my apartments as well.
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
My only issue with it is that, one, anytime a corporation provides an in-kind donation to a group that's not the city, a quasi-group, or to the city, I just think it's only in the best interest for everybody to know about it. Could be an email, just a matter of courtesy. But the problem I got with Ward 4 is that I'm so hands-on in my ward. I mean, I know every house in my ward, and I don't want any organization coming into Ward 4 and not giving the council member, the elected official, the courtesy of saying, hey, we got these gifts. Do you have any ideas on who? Because what happens is you come there with a fire truck, which is the city's fire truck. So when you put the city fire truck in it, you're making it a joint city public event now. It's just like our festival. We raise money, but we give every dime away, and we do all that we can to make sure everybody comes. And we don't want to look like one person that's a member of the historic College Park is in our ward, giving out gifts. It makes us look a little. So my thing would be, whoever's the organizer, contact Council Member Gay and let's discuss what routes and who's going to get towards in Ward 4, because I can better tell you who may be in need.
And my issue is not against the event. I'm for the event. I'm gung-ho with it. I'm glad we're coming out. My ask was for a little bit more coverage for what I was doing, and I was unaware of this. We all were unaware of this. Even if it went to Main Street is a part of this city. Fire truck is fine. We're going to use the fire truck. That's great. All I ask again, I want to make sure our kids are accommodated. And 10:30 a.m. set by somebody's schedule doesn't exactly accommodate everybody in the same way. Now, it may be fine for everybody else. All I was talking about is what I need for my community. If we have an in-kind donation, we need to talk about it, regardless of if it came through Main Street, to BIDA, to the Planning Commission, Police Department, or whoever. If it's coming to this city, we need to talk about it.
Understood. Appreciate it. All right, City Attorney's report.
I would like a conclusion to this, because this is our last meeting, and I would like some toys for my 2 events on December 17th and December 21st. You can check with the apartment managers. We're gonna be doing something, and we need some additional toys. So I wanna make sure that if there's a consensus to get me some additional ones, if the fire trucks come to the apartments, that's great. Let's say they don't distribute the toys, they can come say hello, and Santa Claus can give out some candy canes. A couple of hours later, we're having our Christmas event, and those same toys can be saved for that.
The Amazon trucks are following the fire truck. And
Great.
so,
They can drop them off right there, and we can have our event a few hours later at 2900.
and I think the intent is to put it in the hands of children at the time. And so, is there consensus to see if we have leftover toys, then we can have that discussion. But if we don't, I can't tell you if we're gonna have toys left over.
There's a consensus by me, but I want to make sure that those toys reach communities that I'm aware of. That's
Okay.
what I'm asking.
Sure.
Don't just show up with the trucks. Somebody tell me who, when, what, and where.
Beforehand.
Beforehand,
Thank you.
not, because I didn't even know anything about it. I'd be remiss if I come out and saw y'all driving around. I'd be like, what?
If I'd have known, I would have
What's
said,
going on?
I would have said 10:30 in the morning isn't exactly gonna work if we wanna reach the number of kids in the community, because I know at 10:30 in the morning, all my kids aren't up at Adam. I think it would be, I could figure a more appropriate time. The problem is you didn't talk to us about it. If you would have asked us, well, hey, 2 p.m. might have worked better if we
I
were
didn't
gonna
set
do
the,
this.
I didn't set the schedule.
Okay, all that's fine,
So-
fine, well and good. Well, whoever did, if they don't have the understanding from this body that we are grateful for these gifts, we're honored for these gifts, but they might want to coordinate with all of the council members in the wards. It's, we do extend ward courtesy. We want to get the contributions. We want to continue to get them. I'm just trying to make sure the kids get the toys at the time. If that's not the best time, and that's not the best mode of delivery for all the kids to come outside and get them from the fire truck. I'd like some of those possibly put aside for the 2 events that I already had planned. That's what I'm asking for.
I would be in support of working to see what we've got left over, because
What does that mean?
it means that we do the event, and if we have toys left over, then we can distribute them. But setting them aside when that wasn't the intention of the contributor and the sponsor, I think puts us in a position where we may not be, they may not be amenable to supporting us in the future.
But Mayor, the intention of the distributor and the contributor was also to get the toys to the children in College Park.
Yes,
And that
and
means
if we can-
if kids
if we-
aren't up at 10:30 to get the toys, you defeat the purpose of coming around and making the deliveries if it's not effective.
And if kids aren't up at 10:30, we'll have extras.
Can the
Well,
city
you just
manager
said
get?
you would take a look and see if you have extras. Now, I know that you would have extras. I just want to make sure that they're delivered. What I don't want to see happen is someone to arbitrarily make sure that there are none left.
Can the city manager give the other council members more details about when this is gonna take place so that we can participate?
It's on Saturday, December 17th.
That's what this is?
Yes, sir.
So College Park, I don't even see Ward 4. We're not even on here.
There's Herschel Road.
Well, which Herschel Road? I mean,
I think Ms. Johnson set up the schedule, so,
Who set this up?
Ms. Johnson?
Okay.
So I think we can have a conversation with her and try to iron out the details to make sure that we are covering ground appropriately within the city.
Well, that's the point. We should have done that beforehand, before none of us knew about this, Mayor. That's all we're saying. I'm for this. Again, for the record, I'm for this. I'm grateful for this. But talking to us all, communication, which is one of the biggest issues we have up here, and something that's dictated to our wards that we have no knowledge about. That's all.
Sir, this
No
has
one's
been
trying to derail
on
it.
the calendar for
That's
at
great,
least
but
3
none of
months.
us knew about it, and no one put it on our calendars, and you knew about it, but we didn't.
I don't
That's
got
the only
children.
point.
I don't have children. on
Okay,
Herschel
We
all
Road.
weren't
right,
aware.
gentlemen.
And you didn't make us aware.
Gentlemen, I am not your secretary. I'm not.
Well-
I promise you I'm not, and there are things available on our website And
This wasn't on
and-
our website.
Yes, it has been on our website.
This was not
It
on our
absolutely
website.
has been on our website for months. And so we are at a point right now where
This
we need
schedule.
to make a determination. And what is there a motion? Is there a motion to exhaust, is there a motion to get the toys distributed in the Santa Claus is Coming to Town event? And if there are leftovers, we will distribute them accordingly throughout the ward.
You keep saying
I'll make that
leftovers.
motion.
Hold on a
Okay,
second.
all right. Is there a second?
Second with discussion.
All right, go ahead, Councilman Gay.
Herschel, I need to know exactly, I need to change the route for Ward 4. This doesn't work for us. And you can look at me all you want, but it's not fair. Now, if I had come in here with $30,000 worth of toys, it'd be a different conversation. So have Michelle Johnson or whomever get with me and modify this route.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm in favor, I'm also in favor of, if there's interest in making sure that all the wards are covered. I do see Herschel Road on here, but we want to make sure that Ward 4 has the kind of coverage it needs. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Understood. All those in favor, calling for a vote.
And I'm adding that in.
Wait
I
a
wanna
minute.
I just want to make
Yes.
sure that everybody's covered, that's all.
I haven't been a part of the discussion.
You have not, Councilman Clay, but I'm
All
calling
right.
calling for a vote right now.
I can discuss, right? Mayor, is it up for a vote or not?
It is up for a vote.
Okay, so I can't discuss.
I've called for the
We have
vote.
a motion.
Okay,
There's
you
a
called
motion
for the
and a second.
vote, then I can't discuss.
We had a second with discussion. We did have a second with discussion.
And I called for the vote.
Well, we're still discussing it. Someone seconded the motion with discussion, and we'd like to
So
discuss
let's
it.
hear the motion then again.
The motion is, Madam Clerk?
The motion that I have is to have the event that is scheduled, and if toys are left over, to distribute evenly to council.
Was the
That's not
second with
motion.
discussion?
That's exactly what
Shavela, was the
I
second
thought
with
that we
discussion?
were supposed to amend it
It
to
was
where
second
the-
with discussion, and after you guys discussed it,
Okay,
she called the motion.
we haven't, we're discussing it.
But no, I called for the
She called
vote.
it after you guys had your discussion.
He
Well,
amended his motion.
he hadn't made, he hadn't, he
Stop,
wanted to
stop, stop.
discuss
Hold on
as
one
well.
second. Hold on.
I
hold
think
on.
what she's saying is, after you guys had a discussion, she said, I called for the vote.
Yep.
And then that's when Councilman Clay came into.
Mayor, I think we would like to discuss this a little more, if it's all right with you.
Is the motion going to be withdrawn?
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion, and I'll make that same motion and support what you said, but let's hear the discussion at least.
Councilman Clay, go right ahead.
I just hope Amazon's not listening to this.
Yes. If they're listening, we'll never get any more service.
First off, if we made an agreement with the donor, and I guess we must be the Main Street Association, which isn't a total city association even, but I have no issue with them addressing the whole city. I think that's great. It has representatives from the whole city on the board, but it does not focus on the whole city. So that's the first thing. There's so many things that are screwed up about this. Secondly, I totally agree with lack of communication. It would have been a lot better to have this discussion a long time ago, or whenever we found out about it before we made a decision on it. I don't think if we've accepted a gift from a donor and we've agreed that this is what we're going to do with it, I think that's what we ought to do with it, personally. And so whether there will be toys left over or not, whether the route is right or not, Amazon bought in, it sounds like, to the distribution taking place when Santa Claus was there, when the fire truck went by, and if I were the donor, I'd be a little bit upset if that's what we agreed on and that's not what happened, frankly. So I'm really ticked off in general at this point. I'm sorry. I don't think this is, I just don't think it speaks well of us. I'm sorry. And I think it should be done with whatever, it should be done whatever way we agreed with the donor to accept the donation. And if we ain't going to do it the way we agreed to do it, and I don't care how it was agreed, you know, however it was agreed by whomever it was agreed, I don't care and I don't want to get involved in that. But however it was agreed, that's the way it ought to be done. And if we ain't going to do it that way, then maybe we should give back the gift. And that's where I am on it.
Are you willing to make a motion to that effect?
I'm willing to reinstate my motion. I wanted to hear Ambrose's discussion. So, Chavela, I'm making the same motion I made before.
Is there a second?
What was that motion?
It was the toy distribution to go on as planned. If there are leftover toys, I had some planned events that I could use some toys for.
No, that it was distributed evenly by ward, not given all to you.
I'm sorry. Yep. Chavela, can you read the motion just that way we know for sure?
To have the event that is scheduled, and if toys are left over, to distribute evenly to council.
Okay.
I just want to change the route, that's all I'm asking. There are no children on Herschel Road. I would just like to go in some of the apartments.
I can't understand you right.
I just want to change the route. There's no children on Herschel Road. I just want to go into some apartments.
I wrote it down. I would have Michelle. I wrote it down. I'll have Michelle
That's
Johnson
all I
talking.
want. And I had a question. Is this College Park Main Street Association or Historic College
It's
Park?
Main Street, it's the depot.
Because I'm hearing from the Main Street Association that they don't know anything about the grant. We got the wrong group. I'm getting texts right now. We do not have any information about this grant. And that's coming from the Main Street Association.
I think Mr. Perry had handled it.
Okay. You said
but
the depot.
Huh?
Yes, the College Park Main Street Association.
Okay, what does the depot? The depot is where the Main Street manager is.
Right, and that's where the Main Street Association meets.
That's where they meet. Okay.
That's what he was referring to.
All right. Well,
Is there a second?
No.
that was my motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
No,
All those opposed?
I said no, I'm opposed.
Okay.
I think we should do it like they requested.
So your vote is?
No.
My vote is no as well. Councilman Clay, is there another motion?
I'll make a motion that we distribute the toys like Amazon requested.
Is there a second?
Second with discussion.
All right, thank you, Councilman Gay. Go
Did
right ahead.
Amazon tell you what streets to go to, or they just said you guys coordinated?
They just wanted to support the event.
All right, so all I'm saying in the motion is, can you just?
Yes, and I think Mr. Myers has got the route issued.
That's
Yes.
all I want.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, so we're moving on to City Attorney's report.
It's the last meeting of the year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
City Manager's report.
Santa Claus is coming to town. That's why I gave it to you all. Anyway, we talked about, council approved the 10% for the energy discount and the tariffs on October 3rd, 2022. The senior rates have been revised and reflect the discount. We've talked about this, that we've reached out to the citizens. I've talked to Power Department. We've also customer service. We've got the new senior rates on the city website under customer service. So we're moving forward with that, which is one of them. Most everybody's got it. If there's anybody that doesn't have it that is entitled to it, they can please apply for it, but it's available. The solar power, solar panel project over there at the public safety building, went quite well. Want to thank Michael Hicks. Is he still here? He's still here, yes. That they worked diligently in the 3 o'clock in the morning last Wednesday to make sure that when the power got shut off over there, that the solar power kicked in. We didn't have any problems. And next Wednesday, I believe they're going to have another shift to check the solar power. So we are solar power back up at the public safety building. So I want to thank him and his staff, and even the chief, fire chief. Is that his name, Wade? Is that you? Wade's team was involved in that, and I think that was, I think this is really a good thing. I gave all of you a picture of formerly known as Road Street Roadway Bridge. I posted it in the back behind Michael. It's right there. And so anyway, we went out and took some various photos of the fire chief and his staff. And that was just his command staff that in there, but we've got other pictures too. And once we get them developed, we're going to share it over to the fire department for his staff. And yes, please, Chief. We hadn't let you out. You'll get it on the next go around, okay? But we had to start somewhere, so I figured you could see the size of the bridge by the size of the fire truck. The Christmas parade, the 46th Christmas parade, I understand that it went quite well. We had plenty of participation in it from the rock climbing, I guess, Carl Light.
Kai.
Kai Lightning. All right, Kai Lightning. And that's all.
Thank you, sir. Report of Mayor and Council, Councilman Clay.
Well, I'd like to start by wishing everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, safe holiday, peaceful holiday. Secondly, I'm really excited about what's happening with 6 West, with the pedestrian bridge and with the car bridge, and it's just going to be amazing. And I think it is going to really do a lot for moving development along in 6 West, and I'm very encouraged about that. Next thing, there is an app, and I don't know whether I should muddy the water with this, but I'm going to. There is an app that is called 3 Words. It's a strange name. You can download it from the App Store. What 3 Words, I think, is the proper term. What it does, the people have divided it, the world, the earth, the surface of the earth has been divided into 10-foot square chunks of territory. Everything, every last inch of the earth has been divided that way. So instead of thinking of latitude and longitude, think of a square that's 10 feet square that has been assigned a name like dog, pick, cow, or cat, horse, or smart, dumb, happy. That may not make any sense to you yet. But it turns out, I discovered that by accident today, as a matter of fact. And what it does, police departments and emergency services and all sorts of people, even in certain rural areas, the delivery services have adopted this. And what you can do, you just go to your phone, you bring up the app, and you point to a spot on the screen, like where your house is, and you put in, you click on that, and you get 3 words. And you can take those 3 words and you can text them to an emergency services dispatch, and that uniquely identifies a 10-foot square area. It doesn't require you to somehow look up longitude and latitude and send 7 or 8 digits, or to say, well, I'm 5 miles west of Route so-and-so, I'm out in the boonies somewhere, or I'm in the middle of a forest, or even in College Park, I'm off on such and such a street near this, and so forth, not knowing what the address is. And I know it sounds crazy, and it sounded crazy to me too when I saw it, but apparently there are emergency service departments, police departments, dispatches that are adopting this. And in fact, they're even, when people contact emergency services, they're saying, send me a link that from your app. They send them a link, they get the app, and they can send the location. You've run out of gas. You can send that location via a 3-word code that the app gives you, and that tells the emergency service or the fire department or whoever exactly where you're located. And I'm just throwing that out. I have been totally frustrated with the iNotify, and I know Michael Hicks is working on that, and we're considering perhaps a different approach. And I don't even know whether this is an approach that would work for us too. You could say exactly the spot that you're talking about with this capability. So I'm just suggesting if you guys could take a look at it. Don't spend a lot of time on it. I know it sounds crazy. Don't spend a lot of time on it, but just look at it. I had that same reaction when I saw it. I thought, this makes no sense. But it actually does make sense if you think about it. So that's really all I have tonight. I just hope everybody has a good holiday, and I hope we come back refreshed and ready to do some good work.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Councilman Carn?
Yeah, amen. Amazing technology, by the way. That's something I've never heard of that one. I'm kind of a dinosaur when it comes to the technology. But one thing I have asked about, I know the iNotify thing that we had some issues with it. I asked for a direct phone line or a physical version of iNotify for 2 months, which was 4 different council meetings. I'm assuming we finally got a number. Again, communications is the problem. Communications, we've got to communicate. It's great to finally have an iNotify phone number that you can dial, but what good does a phone number that you can dial do anybody if no one has the phone number? I don't see it on the website. I don't see it on the television station. You know, I walk into City Hall and the lobby looks great. And you got these great photos of our wonderful staff up there, our employees of the month. It's great. We got a great looking staff. You know, but what residents would also like to see when they walk into City Hall, just as big as these photos, is a sign or several signs that read, if you have a city issue or concern, call this number to reach someone with customer service. And when I asked for that phone number, I had the caveat to make sure that somebody is picking up that phone. Our customer service here, it needs some work. We got some good customer service, but we need some work there. So I don't understand why I want to see that number somewhere in this lobby. Since we have it so nicely decorated, that's great, but let's make sure there's some other things in there that residents can actually use that would help them out a little bit. I want to see that number on the website, and there's no reason why it shouldn't have been on it months ago. I want to see that number on the television station, and there's no reason that shouldn't have been on there months ago. I want to see that on our social media. We've got a Facebook page and Instagram and all of that, do we not? Communications, do we? Well, the number should be on there, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. Couple other things I got. We got a lot of great events that go on. I want to make sure that stuff is broadcasted. I saw some of our Christmas stuff on the website. I'm glad to see that. The Q-Scan that goes to folks that can register for the senior citizens discount, the page that is fillable, I was glad to see that. The text needs to be a little larger for seniors to read so they can understand that they can snap a picture of their photo ID or driver's license and upload it. Because some residents called me and said, well, I couldn't send the ID. And I said, well, it's kind of in small writing there, so let's make that more obvious on that fillable page that links to it. Does someone know what I'm talking about? Or am I just talking to myself? Website, Q-Scan. Hello?
I know which form you're talking about. I didn't create the form. Deborah created the form, but I can definitely get with her to make that font.
We just want to make the font larger on where so everyone can read everything a little bit clearer. Couple other things I saw around the city. There's a big pothole at Godby Road in Schofield. It's been there for a minute. If you're on that corner there on that light, you can't miss it. So let's find that, and hopefully we can get that filled. We talked about drainage and stuff, but what do we do when drains or a grate is clogged inside of an apartment community? Is that on us to clear that grate, or is that?
No.
That's
private.
Okay, so if code enforcement sees that, they should be making sure that they're doing that if the apartments aren't doing that. I want to make sure we're on that and make sure code enforcement is taking a look at that, because I've seen a lot of clogged drains throughout these apartments. When I went out yesterday, and I'm not going to talk about what I did yesterday, but we got some work to do over there. I've got one major flooding issue over at Camp Creek, at the access road, at the bridge into the apartments. On the side of, where the billboard is, that LED billboard is, approximately out to that billboard, there's a huge, like, little mini lake that forms, and I don't know if we could drill some kind of drainage pipe to take it back into the grass there or something, if that's possible. But I want us to take a look at that.
That's on, I believe he's talking about John Azar's property.
Yeah.
That's John Azar.
Yeah, if we could have some type of drainage to that property, I guess we need to get permission.
Yeah, John Azar.
But if you can send ask them for permission, obviously, but if we could send some kind of pipe back to the creek, that way it drains that out. Does that, I mean, you kind of understand what I'm getting at? Yeah, no. It would be something that would go towards that property into the creek if we could drain it. And if you want, maybe we go out there one day and I can just show you kind of my thought about it. A couple other things. We had a wonderful Christmas parade event. I was there. We had lots of kids there. The weather cooperated for the most part. I wanted to take a minute out to personally thank Michelle Johnson for the work that she did with Parks and Rec. I want to thank the police department for their work in coordinating that. It went very, very well, and young people were very happy, and so were older folks. Tomorrow is election day. There's a runoff election. Folks, we got to make sure we get out and vote. It makes a difference in our communities. We always talk about staff expectations up here, and I'm looking forward to staff expectations and good expectations in the new year. This is our last council meeting. We want staff to meet expectations, obviously, but the question is, how can staff meet expectations if they don't know what the city council and this body's expectations are? Does that make sense? Well, there are a lot of departments that may not know. And there's a lot we don't know in terms of what's going on in our departments. We don't get monthly department updates. So there'll be more questions up here in 23, and we expect the answers, and we expect the job to get done, and we're going to have a great 23. The other thing I'll mention in closing, these city expectations in terms of us. It's our job to represent these citizens and our community in a professional manner, and but also in an effective manner. The biggest problem we have up here is a lack of communication. A lack of communication. That last agenda item would not have happened the way it happened if we were all communicating with one another. It's simple communication. We're not on totally different pages. It's communication. It's a lack of communication. If we knew about it ahead of time, we sit down and we figure out the best way to do it. That way everybody's covered. I've said it many times up here before. How we present ourselves to the world is important. Because we're a world-class city. We might be small, but we are a world-class city. And, we've got a pretty sizable international airport just a few blocks outside of this building. So how are we coming off to our neighbors? That's important, how we're coming off to our community. We could do a whole lot of a better job. And I'm talking to our neighbors here, I guess, as well. If this was an airplane flight and you're the passengers, our community, how would you like having to listen to the captain, the co-captain, and the navigator argue and fight over which direction we're heading in and the proper altitude? That wouldn't be very comforting to a passenger in an airplane, would it? So I understand that we need to do a better job up here. So we're all a big part of the problem. And speaking for myself, I'm going to commit to do better next year. And one good thing about a brand new year is you get to hit that reset button and you get to try and do better. And that's what we need to do. So we're going to be looking at selecting a city manager in the beginning of the year, hopefully. And hopefully we can get things together. Everybody up here has a vision and direction they want to go in. I think we all got to get on the same page a little more often. I think we need to talk a little more often. I have a vision for this city as well. There are things that I want to see happen. One of the big things for 23 is to bring us back to the standards and the qualities that we used to have in the city of College Park. And when I say that, I mean, this is an airport city. It's a marriage, and the airport's not going away. Years ago, this was an airport village, which meant a lot of our airport employees chose to live in College Park because of the convenience, because of the cleanliness, and because of the quality of housing, both rental housing and owner-occupied housing. We're lacking in that quality in terms of rental housing, in particular in apartment communities. And I want to bring us back up to the standards where the quality of our multifamily is where airport employees want to live here, where we used to have all of our apartments 80%, 85% airport employees. And they were working every day and they were enjoying the convenience of being here, and crime was down because folks were at work. But nobody from the airport wants to move into our communities if they're substandard. And they're only substandard because we're allowing them to remain substandard. The reason why I know this is because you can go to other communities in this county and our standards would be shut down, condemned within 60 to 90 days. So if it's possible for them to raise the bar, it's most certainly possible for us to raise the bar. And I, for one, am going to commit to doing that because I have a lot of the issues with our multifamily. And I'm not pointing fingers in any way. This is something we all got to do better with. And at the end of the day, we set the public policy. Now, if we abdicate that off to someone else to set it, then it's still on us. So I want to make sure we commit to that for 23, and we commit to doing a better job. We can straighten out the substandard quality with these motels, We're going to straighten out the substandard quality in our multifamily. It's not all bad. We've got great multifamily, but we need some work in some other areas. And we've got to commit to doing that. We've got to make a decision. Are we going to straighten out things in our multifamily community? Are we going to raise the standards in our apartment communities? Are we going to raise the standards in our motels? That decision, at the end of the day, and the responsibility is ours. So I'm not pointing the finger at any department heads, not at city manager. It's on us. And if it's not getting done, it's our issue. And we're the part of the problem. So that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Allen.
Okay, first of all, I wish everybody a happy holidays, safe driving or flying, and enjoy your family. I echo what Councilman Carn said. Tomorrow's the last day to vote, so get out and vote. So I appreciate that. We had a couple of, or 2 or 3 great events. Light Up the City on the 28th. Everybody was involved. Christmas parade. The coffee was the cop on Virginia Avenue was a great event. A lot of people were stopping, having coffee with the cops. They were waving, honking. So that's very well appreciated. And the Citizens Patrol Unit, they did a great job. Appreciate everything they did. Want to welcome the new police chief, and if there's anything we can do, please let us know. Every now and then somebody gets an award here in College Park, one of our department heads, and Michael Hicks, congratulations on your award. Stand up there. I mean, very, very, very well deserved. So the local SMART Award, so good job and congratulations. And again, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Gay.
Well, I also like to wish everyone here and those that are watching on our video feed happy holidays, and I hope everyone is safe. Want to acknowledge that Rockland Homes Hawthorne Station is having a lease to own as well as a purchase, as well as a rental. And Sunday was their kickoff. There were about, there was a lot of people there. And I think they're going to be having more of it. So those city employees, first responders who like home ownership, there may be an opportunity there. I like to apologize for not being at the Christmas events. I have 2 school-aged children, so I was out of town with one of them and another event with the other. That's pretty much all I have. Just want to wish everyone. We do have a rude business that I continue to ask code enforcement and IT to support. I don't know what it's going to take for them to enforce it. I don't know if it's going to take me to bring the entire community down here. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm asking you publicly to enforce the ordinance. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. I also want to extend my congratulations and welcome back, Chief Rogers. We are happy to have you and look forward to your leadership within the police department. And also want to congratulate Mr. Hicks on his Local SMART Award. It's a great achievement, and we are so proud of you and thank you for all that you do to help support our city with information technology. Thank you. Also want to thank everyone for coming out and watching the town hall that we had right before Thanksgiving. If you missed it, it is available on our YouTube page and you can check it out. We talked about budget. We talked about the city manager search. And we also talked about Finding the Flint project and other developments that are going on within the city. So if you missed it, you can catch up on that as well. I also want to thank our Fulton County DA, Fonnie Willis, Commissioner Khadija Abdul Rahman, GenCare, AARP, all of the people who participated in our senior summit last week. It was a fantastic event. We had a great opportunity to engage with our seniors, provide information, Grandmaster Moreland was there at the very end talking about self-defense, and it was just a great day full of information. Thank you, Councilman Karn, for stopping by. It was just a really good time. Look forward to the 3rd annual Senior Summit next fall. Want to thank Recreation, Police, Fire, Communications for all of your hard work on our parade. It was amazing. I think we had like a 3-camera link out there, and so you were getting all the different views of the parade. Our 46th annual was bigger and better than ever, slightly wetter than last year, but we made it happen, and we all got through it. And I want to thank all the participants. The North Clayton Marching Eagles got the Mayor's Award. I want to congratulate them. They tagged me out on Instagram, and I responded back, but I want to also publicly say, hey, congratulations on that. They did a great job as well. The Light Up College Park event was magical, better than last year, and I believe there's still time, I think, to vote. Is that right? I'm not 100% certain on that. I think there's still a little bit of time to vote on your favorite tree. So if you haven't,
they have till the 8th.
yeah, if you haven't gotten out there to vote on your favorite tree yet, you still have an opportunity. And all the money goes to a worthy nonprofit in the community. So please get out there, vote for your favorite tree. There's some amazing ones out there, and voice your support for our local organizations. Tomorrow morning, I'm on a plane, and I'll be on a plane I'll be on a plane tomorrow evening. Coming back, headed up to DC to the Housing and Urban Development Department has invited me to join a panel tomorrow on institutional investors in housing. It is an issue that is really hitting us hard here. And so there are folks from across the country talking about how we address this issue, solutions that we can all share. And so I'm looking forward to that opportunity to hear from folks all across the country about how we address this particular situation. And I want to thank Amazon for their support of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. They saw what we did last year, wanted to get behind it, and I am grateful for their support of this initiative. This started out of COVID because we couldn't do the parade, and we wanted to bring some level of holiday cheer to the kids in our community. And Chief Elmore, you and I have both been riding around, and just seeing the look on kids' faces is just absolutely incredible when they don't expect Santa to be there and Santa shows up. It is, in and of itself, magic. And last year, we got some folks who were able to assist us with toys. Amazon wanted to build on that blessing. And I'm grateful for their support, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because we know this one's going to be the best yet. And we've got voting tomorrow. Please get out. If you have not voted yet, every vote counts. Every single vote. And so stand in line if you have to. Make your plan. Get out there. You've got one choice to make when you get to the booth. You can make it pretty quickly when you get there. And so just all of us, across the board, make sure you get out and vote tomorrow.
If you're over 75, you go.
That's right. If you are over 75, you can jump the line, and you don't have to stand in line, and get that vote done. Yesterday, I had the chance to go down to the South Park cottages, and it was incredible. I want to show a little bit of a video of a woman named Lisa Williams, whose life got changed yesterday.
A future that maybe they didn't see for themselves, okay? All right, so this particular essay came to me, and it was written, and part of it read like this. As part of the most vivid memories as a child, this particular person was evicted from their apartment as a young child. Everything she owned was put outside and pilfered through. She vowed never to let that happen again. She wanted nothing but but for her son and for herself to have a safe haven. She tried best possible to remain eligible. She sought help for herself and her son.
Yesterday, Ms. Williams got the warranty deed for one of the micro homes on Godby Road. She wrote a 500-word essay about her new home. She was selected out of more than 1,200 people who signed up. And the developer of South Park Cottages, Booker T. Washington, wanted to make sure that he was impacting our community. And he said, I'm going to give away one of these homes. And he gave it away to Ms. Williams. It is one of the most amazing, heartfelt things that I've ever seen in my life. And I think it speaks to what happens when you have developers come into a community who actually care about the community and want to be a part of the community and want to invest in the community. We have seen folks who want to figure out what they can get out of College Park. Booker and his group wants to see what they can put in. They want to see how they can make this a better place. And so I'm excited that Ms. Williams is going to be a member of our community. I am grateful to South Park Cottages and Techie Homes for their generosity. And I just think there could not be a better way to celebrate the holiday season than for Ms. Williams, who has struggled at various points in her life to be the newest homeowner in the city of College Park. And as we look forward to 2023, I hope we do so through our windshield and not our rearview mirror, because our rearview mirror is awfully small and our windshield is awfully big. So I wish all of you blessings, peace, and just the joy of the holiday season, and I hope that it continues throughout your home and your families for the entirety of the year. But we have a number of things to approve out of executive session. Is there a motion to authorize the settlement of the Townsend matter?
Motion.
Thank you, Councilman Carn. And there's a second from Councilman Clay. Authorize the settlement of the Townsend matter.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, that is unanimous. Item number 2, is there a motion to authorize me to execute a land swap with the Ginn Group at Highway 29 and Roosevelt Connector for tax parcels 130037 LL0019, 130028 LL0617, and on our end 130029 LL0696 and 130029 LL704.
Motion.
Thank you, Councilman Carn. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous. And is there a motion to approve cybersecurity issue A in the amount of $40,824?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Allen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous as well. Is there a motion to approve the executive session minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilman Clay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Carn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. That is unanimous as well. We are adjourned at 10:17 p.m. Happy holidays, everybody. We'll see you in 2023.